Hello everyone. I want to give you a update on my clock and calendar system, the plugin version. Um, some of you might have seen the plugin before, and more of you might have seen the workshop that explained to you how to make a clock and calendar system without the use of a plugin. The newest version, which was available until now, um, had a clock and calendar system built in the plugin, which is plug and play and can be put in most RPGs without any trouble. It gives a day and night system. It gives a fully functional clock, a fully functional calendar. You can make events on certain dates. You can make events at certain times. Um, you can make winter, you can make summer, you can make um, uh, weather conditions based on what season it is. You can use a real-time calendar, you can use a fantasy calendar, um, and this is still all built in one plugin. The old plugin also had survival mode, which basically meant that if you don't sleep for a while, you get tired. If you don't eat for a while, you get hungry. And if you don't drink for a while, you get thirsty. That still exists, only it's not part of the main plugin anymore. It is now, oh, that's the wrong screen. It is now a separate plugin. The reason for this is, well, a couple of reasons. It is a lot easier for me, even though it was a hell of a job to split it all up. It is easier for me to maintain, and besides, uh, there there were signals from my audience that some people would like to use the clock core, but they do not want to use the survival mode or the other way around, even though no one told me that. The clock core is a lot more popular than the survival mode, even though I think survival mode is great. Not everyone thinks so, and not everyone wants that forced into their game just to use a clock and calendar. So I broke it up into two plugins, and they perfectly work separated, although survival mode makes more sense when you use a clock core. I mean, how can you get hungry if there's no time? Then eating 3 minutes ago is the same thing as eating 3 days ago because there is no minutes or days. I broke them up into two plugins and I want to go through both of them in this video. The clock core, that's the clock and calendar system. And if you use both, then clock core is also the base, which the survival mode will be depend on. But it's not a problem if the clock core is not present. If the clock core is present, put survival mode underneath the clock core. The clock core. It has a bunch of variables, a bunch of parameters to set up before you can use it correctly. Well, you can use it straight away, although some things might be overwritten if you already use variable 1 or variable 11. There is quite a long help section here. I try to be very clear in how the plugin works because out of the blue people might not understand what to do. But even with the help section, it might be a little bit confusing, even though it is really, really, really simple to use. In lame terms, I have a couple variables. Variable 1 is years, 2 is months, days, hours, and minutes. We check out the first 5 first. The variable years that will, if we start in 1995, this will say 1995. If we start off in March, this will say 3. If it is the 15th of March, this will say 15. If it is 4 p.m., this will say, not 4, this will say, let's see, 16. I don't know why I had to think that hard, because I've used a 24-hour clock my whole life. 16 means 4 p.m., 4 means 4 a.m., and if it's 4:30, then this will say 30. The next few variables are the timestamp, the date stamp, and time and date stamp. And what those do, I can easily show you. I will show the intro better later, but I want to go quickly to here. This is the timestamp. This is the date stamp. And this is the time and date stamp. It's this whole section, Monday, 12 February 1995, 7:22 a.m. This is all stored in one variable. If I would ask him now, again, it's not 7:22 anymore. It's now 7:43. Every second in real life is a minute in the game. You can alter that. We come to that later. So those are the wrong one. Those are the timestamps. This one, this one, this one. We have a few more variables here. Those are optional. The first ones, they are optional, and they if you don't want to use them, just set them to 0. If you set them to 0, they will do nothing. They are not required for the plugin to run correctly, and that they are only for you as user to be able to make events depend on that variable. For example, I've got lunch here. Well, at 6 a.m. it's breakfast. Breakfast disappears at 8 a.m. Then at 11 a.m. it's lunch. Lunch disappears at 1 p.m. 13 minus 12 is 1. Then there is dinner at 6 p.m. and dinner will disappear at 8 p.m. And you might have noticed that I skipped a few pages. It's because I made the breakfast disappear if you already have it in your inventory. I made the lunch disappear if it's already in your inventory, and dinner as well. So dinner shows up at 6 p.m. and disappears at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. and after it's drinking time. And that's how you can easily use those. Why do I keep going to this one? Let's minimize it, then it can't be in the way anymore. Well, it can because it's still here. Let's just move it back. Let's see, those are the optional variables. Here are the, let's make them back to what they should be. No. Yes. Then we have the required variables. Those need to be set up because they are used by the plugin to function correctly. MMDD stands for minute, minute, day, day. Store current MMDD is months times 100 plus days. So 101 is January 1st and 312 is March 12th. HHMM is the same thing, but for hours and minutes. And how is this used? For example, I have a character here. This is a Christmas angel. I know this is not a Christmas angel, but it's the closest thing I've got in the RTP, so I'm using it. This is a Christmas angel. They only show up between December 10th and December 26th. December 10th is 12:10. So if it's 12:10 or after, this angel will be here. And if it is December 26th or after, the angel is no longer there. What is this? Oh, at Valentine's Day 214 is the 14th of February. It's Valentine's Day, and the next day it's gone. Another way to use this is to set seasons. MMDD is 0, meaning the start of the year. The start of the year, it is tells that outside winter and it snows. As you can see here, there is a summer map, and if it is January, it will change into a winter map, and depending on which day it is, the snow gets heavier or less, and soon enough the snow disappears. There's now a little bit of rain. It's February, almost March. The snow is gone. We call this map outside summer, but you can use whatever map you want. And it's raining instead of snowing. It's 300. That doesn't exist. That is March 0th. March 1st. March 1st. It is, you can put it to 300 if you want. March 1st is the first day of summer here, or at least it's the first day that it's not raining on a summer map. Then it doesn't rain again until it is September 13th. It starts raining a little. On October 23rd, it starts raining a little bit more. October 27th, it rains even more. At the 11th of November, it starts storming. And at November 17th, it goes back to heavy rain. December 4th, it starts snowing, but we are still on a green map. And the day after, here it starts snowing slowly on December 4th, but December 5th, if you go home at December 4th, you go to bed and you wake up, then the world suddenly looks all white and snowy. And the rest of the year, the snow stays there, but the weather effect shows more or less snow depending on the days. There's a lot of snow on December 25th, and on December 27th it goes way less than before. Let me show you how the winter maps and summer maps look. There's that intro again. We play this character. I'll show this intro fully later when I go over the whole. Hey, yeah. So it is winter. This is actually this map. However, it's winter and the scarecrow has been replaced with a snowman. Other than that, everything is in the same spot as it is. You saw the little warning saying I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I'm hungry. You can see it in the menu as well. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I am thirsty. if I would skip some time, I want to skip 3 months. 3 months is about 12 weeks. Sure, I can magically skip time. Nah, just kidding, I can do that. How much? Hey, there is not enough space to do this. I'm used to having auto wrap by Yamfly, but because I share this project, I can't have third-party plugins in there. Weeks. Let's do 20 weeks. Then we're sure it's summer. I get on the same map, however, now it is all green and there's no snow. And the snowman is replaced with Scarecrow. Oh. And here on the graveyard, there is a bunch of vampires every night at midnight till 3 AM. As you can see here, there's no condition here, so it will always be here unless it is 3 AM or later that day. And that goes for every... They do nothing there, they are just there to show you, the user, how to use those variables. This is what it is all about. Those are the MMDD variable and the HHMM variables. Now we get skip hours, skip date, and skip days, and skip total. This one will show the result, the total in hours of hours, skip hours and skip days. So if you want to skip 5 hours and 1 day, then this will be rated with 24 and 5 is 29 hours. What does that mean? On the inside map, for example, we have a bed. And the bed, we just did it, by the way, we did it here, but the bed does the same thing. It says skip hours 8 and skip days 0. It is now V8, so that's the timestamp. How long do you want to sleep? Then the player gets to change this digit if they like. It will be set to 8 by default, but that's because I just did that here. Then we fade out. You hear the in music, and the lights will be turned off. And then we do CC wait. CC wait will skip the hours and the days set here. And those hours will be yes, that was the right one. Those hours will be added to this number. You, the user, do not change this number. This will be changed by the plugin and used by the plugin as well. This is how the plugin knows how much time you have skipped in total. So when you come back later, it will still be 8 hours later than it should have been if you didn't change, if you didn't leave and come back. No, if you didn't skip time. Sorry. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't even remember where that sentence starts. This will be used by the engine, so the engine always knows how much time you skipped, so the time stays right, even if you skip time 20 times. Start timestamp. Well, I guess that doesn't need any explanation. When you load the game for the first time, it will make a timestamp, so it knows how long you've been playing and how much time that means that has passed in game. you also select two switches. Those switches are pretty interesting. One is the outside switch. When it's on is outside, off is inside, and the light switch, on and off is off. True is outside, false is inside, true is on, lights on, false is light off. What does that do? You might have noticed that if you start the game here, blah 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 blah, change this, choose this character, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah. It is quite dark here still because it's 7 a.m. At 8 a.m. it will get a little lighter, but when I use the light switch, let's wait till it's 8 a.m. so you can see that it will become lighter, brighter, and you don't have to do anything for that. It automatically happens. It is automatically done by the plugin itself. In meanwhile, we can get our breakfast because that will disappear at 8 a.m. And now it seems, if you just look at the orange bar here, it seems like I lose a lot of health, but I get a lot of max HP by eating, and that's why it seems like I did a lot of damage. And then there's coffee as well. Is it 8 already? Oh. I was in the menu, so I missed it getting brighter. However, it is not, even though it's now fully daytime in the game, it is still not at full brightness because we're inside. And when I turn on the light, it gets at full brightness. Now, if we go outside, you see right now it is bright as day. However, if we skip some time, skip time, hours, oh, 0 hours. No, I'm too quick with trying to click dialogue away because I'm too lazy to wait. How many hours do you want to skip? 12. Then now it should be nighttime. You see it gets dark straight away. We're gonna get a beer that showed up at 9 p.m. and wine also shows up at 9 p.m. Now outside it is dark as well. I try to open the menu to see what time it is now in game, but there's nothing in the menu that tells me that. 9 p.m. I believe it doesn't get any darker than this at nighttime, so this is what nighttime looks like in the game. It looks a lot brighter than it is outside right now, but that's because of all the snow. There's a lot of white in the tile set, so a darker tile set might look even darker. And the light switch now has a real large effect. How did I event that light switch though? I didn't. I just turn on that switch and I turn off that switch. That's all you have to do. Here is a nice little detail. Curtains open up by themselves at 7 a.m. and they close down again at 7 p.m. Why do I keep doing that? So those are the switches. I only explained the light switch, but there's also an outside switch. The outside switch simply has to be on when you leave and do it before you transfer. When you leave an inside area and go to an outside area, turn this on. Are you going from an outside area to an inside area? Turn it off. The reason is when this is on, as you saw in the game, it is brighter outside and when it's off, then the game thinks you're inside and it will be less bright. Also, the light switch below has no effect outside, only inside, meaning that if you have the light switch on and you go outside and you've got to turn this one off, then you would still have full light as if it is bright day. So turn the outside switch off when you go outside. When you go inside, turn it back on when you go outside, and the light switch only works when the outside switch is off. Okay, the calendar. The calendar can use a real calendar. This is it has 12 months. The first month has 31 days. The second one has 28, then 31, then 30, then 31, and so on and so on, just like the real calendar. And in a fancy calendar, you can have as many months as you want, but all months have the same amount of days. You can have a year with 3 months, you can have a year with 100 months, whatever you want. How many months, how many days go in a month? That's all up to you for a fantasy calendar. So if this one is set to false. On a fancy calendar, you can choose how many days you want in a month. And for a real calendar, this has no effect at all. Weekday names. So in the real calendar, you have 7 days in a week. But if you have a fancy calendar, you can have the 8th day would be Octo Day. Now our week automatically has 8 days because we did put 8 days here, and the calendar will be adjusted as if there's 8 days in a week. With months, it goes the same thing, only for a fancy calendar. If you use a real calendar, you really should at least keep this at 12 and not 11, not 13, because that will crash your game. If you want less or more months, use the fancy calendar. That's what it's for. If you use the real calendar, you can still use this for translation. Like if in Dutch, it's most months are the same, pretty much, spelled a little differently. If I would translate this to Dutch, I set this to March, February, January. Hey, Dutch. Oh. June, July, August, September is the same, October, November, December. Now my calendar has been translated to Dutch. And now it's back to English. And this is simply the year you want your calendar to start in. You have to set this no matter if you oops. No matter if you use a fancy or a actual calendar. The last few parameters, good, because my throat starts to hurt and I have another plugin to discuss. The settings. Lightning can be turned on or off. If you turn it off, then it will not get dark, and you have to do that yourself. The reason to turn this off is because if you turn it on, you can't use the function tint screen in your game. When you use thin screen, the plugin will instantly overwrite it and make the screen go back to the color bright day or dark. Use real time. You can use real time or you can use playtime. When you use real time, the clock is updated 60 times a second. Actually, a 1,000 times a second, but the engine will only update it 60 times a second. Meaning that if you have a clock, what's the word? If you have a clock on the screen all the time, that's not the word I was looking for, but that's what it means. If you have it on the screen all the time, then you better choose a real-time solution, because this will be updated all the time and it just looks smoother. And then there's playtime. Playtime is based on playtime, and this updates only once a second. Because it only updates once a second, if you have any time multiplier other than 60, it will look weird, because 1 second it goes 1 minute up, and the next second it goes 2 minutes up or no minutes up. So if you don't have a clock constantly in the view, then you can use playtime. If you have a constant clock on screen, you use real time. There's another difference. Real time will always be running, even when the game is paused, even when the game is shut down. If you shut the game down and you come back 3 months, then your actors didn't eat, drink, or sleep for 3 months. 3 months will have passed in that world, and summer suddenly is winter, and winter in 3 months, that's not possible. Well, it is with a fancy calendar, but summer is suddenly fall, fall is suddenly winter, winter is suddenly spring. With playtime, when the game is closed, the clock stops, and when you come back and you start playing again, the game is the clock in the game is starting again. Is there anything else to be said about this? Yes, this last detail, that it keeps running on real time when the game is shut down. That can be a really nice feature for games that have a deadline. For example, if you have played Fallout 2, Fallout 1 it was, I think. In Fallout 1 you had about a year of in-game time to find a water chip, and if you didn't find it in time, everyone in the vault dies. If you want to implant something like that in your game with this system, you can simply by saying, if it's 1996 and we start in 1995, by 1996 you have to complete the game, otherwise it's game over or something. It can be a nice feature if that also means the clock keeps running when you are away. So you actually have to complete the game in a few days real time. And with playtime, you can stay away from the game as much as you want. And when you come back, there's no time process, so you won't feel a timed quest because of being absent. And finally, the time multiplier. Time multiplier by default is set to 60. 60 means that an in-game hour is a real life minute, and an in-game minute is a real life second. You can set this to anything you want. If we set it to 60 a lot, you will see that if we go into the game and we get the same homosexual, boom, time is just going like crazy. There's breakfast, lunch, dinner, beer, breakfast, lunch, dinner, beer, and those curtains, whoop, open, closed, open, closed. Doggy goes outside, back inside, outside, back inside. And that's what happens if you speed up time too much. And this, by the way, was 600,000 minutes every second. That's crazy. But if we want to do an hour a second, we get 3600. Every second, 1 hour passes. I need to take a sip. Every second an hour passes, so now it's midnight. I know that because at midnight bottles disappear. And I didn't even have enough time to get my breakfast. Coffee is gone, I had my lunch and there's dinner already. So if you want, you can have funny things with that, but more realistically, you keep this between 20 and 60. I have set it at 60 by default, but I noticed that 20 is a really nice pace for larger games, and 60 might be a better pace for short games. When you set it to 20, it takes 3 minutes of real time for 1 hour in-game to pass. So that means that an in-game day is 72 hours. 72 minutes, sorry. 72 real life minutes is 1 in-game hour. So a little of is 1 in-game day. So an in-game day would be a little over a real life hour if it's set to 20, and a real life 24 minutes would be an in-game day if the multiplier is set to 60. Do I say that right? Yes, I say that right. That's the clock hour. Next on the list is the survival mode. And survival mode, how does it work? It stores a couple timers per actor, 3 to be exact. One timer tells you how long ago did you sleep. The other timer tells you how long ago did you eat and how long ago did you drink. Well, it doesn't tell you any of that. It tells the plugin that, and the plugin will react to that. To make this happen, the plugin needs a few variables. One is the fatigue stamp, and the fatigue stamp, fatigue timestamp needs a fatigue is with a G, not a Q, right? I'm gonna look that up. Bop, bop. Fatigue, volgens mij. Yeah, it's with a G. I will change that. I will change that straight away while I talk to you. The fatigue timestamp and the hunger timestamp and thirst timestamp, they will contain the moments when you drink, eat, or sleep. And the plugin will check those timers, and if those timers are um, exceeding so many in-game hours, you will get hungry, sleepy, or thirsty. And the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Every every of those fatigue, hunger, and thirst have three different states. Um, there's the positive state. It starts as soon as you eat, drink, or sleep, and you get well rested, well fed, or well hydrated. After that, after 6 in-game hours, the this this state will disappear. After another 6 in-game hours, you get tired, hungry, or thirsty, and again 6 hours after that you get exhausted, starving, or dehydrated. And what is that? What what are those states? Well, that's what they are, states. And I can show you the states. Pom pom pom. States, states, states. Where are you? There. We have well rested with a nice icon, well fed and well hydrated for all three phases. Where we have the positive phase when we just rest, eat, or drink. In how you make those states, that's all up to you. I did the resting state, gives you an agility boost. You don't fall asleep as fast, and you gain more experience and more. You generate some TP. When you eat, you get an HP boost and you generate HP. And when you are hydrated, you will gain a MP boost and you generate MP. Then after 6 hours, those go away and you have a normal state without any buffs or debuffs, and then you get tired. Instead of a buff for agility and experience, you now get a debuff for agility and experience. You're more likely to fall asleep, and you get a bit of TP regeneration, but in negative. So you lose a little bit of TP every few seconds. For food, everything that was positive before now becomes a debuff, and for thirsty as well. And those debuffs become a lot stronger when you get dehydrated, starving, or exhausted. And that's everything there is for the states. There's two ways those states can be applied. One is through an item, like here we have lunch. Lunch is food. We put a no tag in the food item, and the target of this item will become well fed. This can be one ally, this can be all allies, or this can be the user. It can't be an enemy. If you try to put it on enemy, I don't know what happens, but it will probably crash. Or the wrong actor might. It will probably crash because it depends on the actor ID, and an enemy doesn't have an actor ID. So it will probably crash if you try to put this at an enemy. Don't put it at an enemy. Use one ally, all allies, or the user. The user makes most sense to me, so I put it to the user. And the person who eats the bread will become well fed. The person who drinks the beer becomes well hydrated. And with coffee, I have one extra, and that's energy. And the person who drinks the coffee becomes also well rested. I want to change that for a bit. I think I might change this into moving up the timestamp for drinking by so much. I don't know by how much just yet, but um, if you drink coffee, then your tired state would become less instead of completely cured. And I might even be able to do that for food and drinks as well. As I said, there's a second way to trigger those states. There's also objects on the map, like a bed. When we use a bed, we already saw this for the wait plugin command, but it also triggers the sleep plugin command. The sleep plugin command sets the timer for resets the timer for all actors in the party, and then it will apply the positive state to the whole party. So items are only for the targets. The plugin commands will work for the whole party at once. Not only for sleeping, but for example, when we have a sink, you can drink at the sink, but you don't put the water in your pocket. You just drink it straight away, and the whole party will be hydrated. We just pretend they take turns at the sink, I guess. And the same thing can be done for food. Let's say there is a big cake here. There's a big cake on a white table. Why on a white table? Because I don't know. And when interacting with this big cake, we get food. Hooray for cake. Bum. Oh. Hooray for cake. Cake is yummy. Eating will give you a bonus state. Here we do CC eat, and now when interacting with this cake, we don't get a cake in our inventory, but our whole party gets well fed. You can use that for a buffet, or maybe a vending machine that sells hot snacks, or I don't know. If you want to restore the whole party's hunger, then this is how you do it. And for thirst, this is how you restore the whole party. If you want everything restored when you go to sleep, simply eat and drink. I think that's weird. I think that if you go to sleep hungry, you don't wake up satisfied. So I don't do that. The reason why wait and sleep are not one plugin command, which was the case before but not anymore, is because I split up the plugins. So CC Wait is part of the clock core, and CC Sleep, that's why CC clock core, CC Sleep is now part of the survival plugin instead. Let's see, is there anything else that I didn't tell you yet? There's a doggy here. This doggy at 8 p.m. it disappears. Where does it go? Well, here outside we have a bed, and that disappears at 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. the doggy goes outside. And I think I have something else here. I miss an event. I already had another event, another monster here, and at daytime at spring it would turn into a butterfly, but in winter it would be something different. I'm not sure. The event is gone, so it doesn't matter. probably deleted it sometime. Did I show the vampires yet? They show up at midnight, and at 3 a.m. poof, they gone. I don't think there is openings hours for the store at 9. If it's above 9 a.m. and it's under 7 p.m. you get a shopping screen. I didn't feel like inventing a whole store or mapping a whole store, so I just did it like this. And if it is before 9 a.m. or after 7 p.m. you get a little sign saying, hey dude, we went home, we are asleep, come back in the morning. Who do you think you are coming here late at night? Well, it doesn't say that, but you know the person who posted that meant to say that. Well, that is about everything about the plugin. I want to show you shortly how it actually runs when I don't skip everything. Hey there, I'm John. You might know me as John Doe News. The character standing at the door is you. Does this look like you? There's a little character selection with a little zoom function, which is not part of the plugin, by the way. It's actually really easy to do, and it's pretty useless as well. It's only fun for little things like this. Show next character. You can choose to be male, female, dark or white. I am a white guy, so I will play as a white guy. Good, good. What should I call you? Good. I think we are ready. Step aside. This will be messy. What will be messy? Class dismissed. So, you want to learn my clock and calendar system, is that right? If the answer to that is no, you downloaded the wrong project. John Doe News, Clock and Calendar Workshop. Workshop? No, that was the last class. This class is to teach you the plugin. As I said in the beginning of this video, I made a workshop to teach people how to make a clock and calendar system in RPG Maker, and now years after I turned it into a plugin. Warning, you are exhausted, you are starving, you are dehydrated. This warning you always get after entering or leaving a house. However, this is not part of the plugin. This is part of the plugin. This common event will be triggered after each transfer. In the survival mode, common event 1 is selected. This common event will be triggered after transferring and after the states are applied, because the states are updated every time you transfer from one map to another. And well, if you get a negative state, then you might want to warn your players, because well, this is HP minus 67% in my case. This is MP minus 67%, and they also degenerate. Is that the right word? I lose health every few seconds because of those states. So this makes it really important that I keep my characters fed. If you don't want that harsh of a penalty on your characters, then make a less harsh penalty for your characters. That's what I thought. I've got to make this the same as the characters. Hooray for cake. Cake is yummy. Eating will give you a bonus state. So now I'm well fed. My max HP goes up to 150% from 33%. And I get HP regeneration. So soon enough I will be nice and full of health. This will help as well. Now I'm fully hydrated. It is almost 12. Let's do one afternoon nap. And now it's 1 PM exactly. The light switch is working. This is at daytime. This should be daylight, but with the lights off, with the lights on. Lights on is always this bright. Also when it becomes nighttime, the difference between night and day is only visible when the lights are off. Here is the winter map. And did I show this? I have yes, I did talk about this before. So I don't have to show this again. The map is winter. It's daytime, so there's no vampires here. They will be here all year long, but only from midnight till 3. Oh. Let's go home to skip some time. Oh. Skip time. Weeks. 20 weeks. Oh, that's 10 weeks. It's probably enough. It is enough. And now it's summer. It's still the same map, but now it's summer. And with that, I will put this video to an end. I showed everything I can think of. I told everything I wanted to tell you. Or maybe I forgot some things, or maybe I told some things twice. Well, if you enjoy this and if you want to try this plugin out, you're in luck. I will upload this even before I upload the video. So once you see this, the plugins will be online and you can download them at johndoenews.itch.io. And there you can also find my games, which you can play for free. And I hope to see you all in the next update. Bye.